Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with your UAA Esports Overwatch 2 team going up against PVCC Pumas up against this match in the hybrid. We're going to be starting off early on with aggression with this sim teleport on to our first point of Lijiang Tower. Looking at about the score, we got our hit scan Lord back on the Ashe as Ashe has just came out of quarantine after a really cringe buff that she received. But early aggression coming in from our tank, our leader Etho, also known as Star Chicken. Coming in with the early pick is going to be Lord back on that Ashe with the dynamite onto the opposing DPS of Sojourn. And that early pick is going to secure us the point, but with contested by one, it's going to need the rest of our members to try to clear out this point so that they can take control of this early man advantage. Point is green now inside of UAA. Looking to try to continue it even further. Having this Sombra on the backside of the side of PVC is going to be a little bit aggressive, but after the follow of the dynamite, the Suzu is exhausted from the side of PVC, and they're able to capitalize on it. 1-for-1 comes out, but Lance takes advantage back on the side of UAA. Trades are still coming out, but that's going to be the supports both down for PVC, and it's all up to Etho and Smokey, all left alone on this site, alongside Lord, rather. Strong showing so far from the side of our Sea Wolves. Make sure that they capitalize the point as well as capitalizing off the first picks. Both fights so far, they have been able to get the first blood, so it's looking good so far. But this fight's going to look a little bit more brawly than others as they enter on alongside the Kitsune Rush. And because of that, it doesn't look like we were ready in response. It just looked like PVC just farmed their ults a little bit quicker than ours, as all we have in the bank is a Kitsune of our own, but with no other follow-up ults to farm off of it. Very well played from the side of PVCC, rather. As they're able to finally cap the point. But going alongside this Symmetra, faster to the point, that's going to be the enemy Junker Queen ult that comes through. Still looking for ults of our own as we're going to pull in with the Kitsune Rush. Etho's able to get the pick, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 as Lord comes back with one of his own. Bob gets exhausted, and he's able to find one, getting onto both of the supports. Duck trying to find anything more, but Etho's able to capitalize with 2 picks of his own, and that's a team kill, ladies and gentlemen. UAA storms onto the point and is able to capitalize it on their own with only using Bob and Kitsune. Still in the pocket, if we look at the scoreboard here, we do have the Orbital Strike and Ethos ult. I wish I did remember the name of Junker Queen's ult, but on the opposite side, we don't exactly know what they're carrying. But I like the aggression, the use of the Orbital Strike to push into this, engaging into the fight, and even though that Sombra came in with the EMP, she's just going to die immediately right off of it, trying to keep Etho alive here with the Suzu. Great use of it, and he's able to pick up the enemy Kiriko. TPs are coming out just in case if he needs a TP out, but Lance is not able to take that. Etho's going to go in with the Junker Queen ult of his own, follow up by the ring, and this is going to stop any sort of advances from PVCC, trying to get onto the point, and just like that, with 2% remaining, they do have a contest to try to get onto that point. Once they deal with this Sombra, it's going to look very dire straits for the side of PVCC as they are no longer able to touch the point unless the Wrecking Ball comes through. But anything after this is just nothing short of some big hopes and not enough dreams. UAA will take the first round of Lijiang Tower. Very nice start so far for our Sea Wolves as they're coming in hot. Looking very strong for our team. Getting some camera time for the side of our hit scan DPS, known as Lord or Carter, for all the fans back at home. If you didn't know, NECC, the league that we're in, temporarily quarantined Ashe due to a weird crouching glitch that she had, but luckily enough, now that she is back in town, Lord is wasting no time in picking up and putting back the boots on his heels. Going quick up to the computers. Lord's able to land a nice dynamite, but fly straight into the molly of the Sojourn. But Smokey and Etho are able to follow it up with picks of their own. That's going to be that early pick onto the Sojourn. Once again, this is a really good capitalization from the side of UAA, finding and picking up that Sojourn that is just not really positioning in the best possible places. But it works out for us. Lord's going to be able to capitalize onto that point and up in front into the action. Once again, it's going to be that Sojourn that falls down. And after that first blood, really nice disengage for the time being. But Etho's able to find the pick, and Smokey's able to get the last laugh. Gets the pick onto the enemy Juno, and waiting for this Mei to come out of the ice cube. Gets the slash down as the Kiri falls right back in front of her. Enemy Junker Queen, all that's left. Knife not able to land. But Lord's still able to pick it up regardless. This is absolutely pure dominance from the side of UAA here. Looking extremely well in this matchup so far. Lijiang Tower, if you do not know, is one of our better matchups, better maps, more comfortable runs, rather. Even though our record might not be the best at it, this is still one of the more comfortable ones, so it is very nice to see so far. Once again, UAA in this season, undefeated. Even though it might be 1-0, we are still undefeated, so that is not a lie. Etho going in with the ult early on, followed up by Lance getting a pick of his own onto the enemy tank, leaving Mei all alone out of the ice cube. Tries to jump off for a quick cooldown off the respawn, but it's not going to work. 60%, and it keeps on climbing for the side of UAA. Looking at ults here, looks like Lance is going to be the first one to get the ult off the wall. Seeing exactly how they're going to play this would be very interesting, but the Kitsune Rush on the side of Duck is also going to prove useful as well. I like how they paired the Kitsune Rush alongside the Bob last fight around. But let's see exactly how they do it this time, as the enemy team also have some ults of their own. That Mei ult is going to come in soon, so the disengage from the side of UAA is going to have to be flawless. Flank here comes through, but Lord's going to be able to fall. Duck goes down as well, but the wall comes through, and the Bob is up and landing. Lance Striker is able to burn down the enemy Juno onto the Mei next. Wall comes up, but the Discord from the side of the Junker Queen on PVCC is able to get the pick. Etho 1v1 on the side of point, but the Mei is peckering him with the ice bolts from the left side. Another anti-heal comes through as they swapped onto Ana. He's trying to live, trying to find his way through the battle, but it's not going to be for any use. Unfortunately, Etho is going to fall, leaving the RC Wolves to go back and just reset here. 99%, and it doesn't look like they used much ults. Yes, they did use Bob and Wall, but with both support ults and Ethos charging up in the meantime, this should be very strong for us. If I were to be counting ults here, I believe that PVCC still has their Mei ult, because we didn't see that going in. Nice use of the Kitsune to go in. Early pick onto the Ana. Lance finds himself burning up on the Sojourn on the right side, but the 3 picks are still going on the side of the point. Sojourn's finally going to fall. Last one's that Junker Queen alongside the Juno ult from Smokey is just going to absolutely thwart the defense from the side of PVCC. And as the time ticks down, this Sombra is not going to be able to touch. And first map of Lijiang Tower, ladies and gentlemen, goes in hand of UAA with a beautiful victory. As we start this series off 1-0, play of the game goes to none other than Star Chicken Etho. And soon, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going into map 2 to hopefully continue this dominance from our Overwatch 2 team. Once again, we're undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to map 2 of our best of 5 Overwatch 2 match. We got UAA, if you're just now joining, up against PVCC Pumas Silver team. Both teams are undefeated actually going into this affair. I thought it was just UAA, but PVCC as well undefeated, sitting at 2-0. Even though early on to the season, we can still say it's undefeated, as it is still a very monumental achievement to have even this early on into the game. But going into this one in particular, a little bit of a swap now from the previous game, as we just won Lijiang Tower 2-0, as we're going to be going up against a Zarya as well alongside our Ramatra. On the back ends, we got a little bit of a split, 3-2 on the bottom of ground, as our Kiri and Ash are going to be taking up the high ground. Dino is going to land up inside of the cast, while the core of our team is battling on the bottom flight, but this Reaper is wreaking havoc on the side of our top lane, able to clear out Duck. Our Kiriko is down, leading up all up to Smokey. That Reaper is already going to be proving a problem, already TPing, getting out, not being able to get traded. 4v5 on the side of the point. The Reaper is absolutely dealing too much damage. Anti-heal comes out. What an insane anti from the enemy team. Got to give credit to where credit is due, and that is going to force our Seawolves to back up. Lance not able to get out in time, and unfortunately this is going to cause a huge stagger, as I believe Lance is going to start from old spawn, or from last spawn, all the way starting in from P3. So now the rest of our Seawolves stuck in a 4v3 or 4v5 rather, until we can accumulate any sort of footing. But they only have one person on that payload, so it's going to be chugging very slowly. Swapping onto the cast instead of the Ash, it's going to be Lord with an early swap. Excited to see this 1v1 match go out. Reaper no Wraith going to look and try to secure this kill, but the bubble from Zarya is able to get him out. This Reaper and Zarya combo is going to prove a little daring for our team. Lord's going to be the first one picked. Once again, that's another one of the duo taken out. Etho is going to fall as well. And yeah, once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be another teamfight loss from the side of PVCC, doing a good job at really playing their aggression. I mean, if you look at the support line, seeing a Lifeweaver and Ana, I mean, I've been out of the game for a little bit, but never have I ever seen that in a competitive support lineup. So whatever works for the team, rather, I guess. But the Ana is definitely proving very hurtful for the team, and the aggression that this Zarya is starting to set, definitely going to have to force us to come through. Oh, no. The Graviton paired up with the Reaper ult. Yeah, it's definitely not looking good for our Seawolves. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That is the stream going on in the background. But back into this. A lot of questions needing to be answered as to how they can deal with this aggression that PVCC is setting. They're just really playing their game right now and forcing UAA into it. Orbital Strike comes through, as I said earlier. Early swaps come through from the side of Etho, swapping back off of that Ramatra onto the Junker Queen, as we saw. Cass is going to fall first. Reaper comes through with no Wraith, but is able to TP out. No Suzu available, so it's going to be really hard to try to heal the rest of our team members. Tree came through from the side of Lifeweaver early on in the fight, so that's going to be some ult usage being aware. But once again, this Reaper is just causing havoc, sitting up 16-0 right now. And we just unfortunately do not have an answer for it. Extremely hard to deal with. But it's going to be the high noon of a Lord to take out both Cass and Ana. And finally, UAA have found their footing off of the back of two ults, or one ult rather, from Lord. And some really good team play from the rest of our Seawolves. Even though that this has been a one-sided map so far, you can't count us out just yet. With only 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining, UAA finally has their foot in the mud. And hopefully PVCC won't be able to dig us out. As I say that, though, it's going to be Smokey down off the back of the Reaper ult. Comes through. No Suzu available. And off the back of the Junker Queen ult, he's able to pick off two. And that is the supports. So if UAA is able to get back on this point in time, they might be able to touch. But the two that are going to respawn is going to be the side of Smokey and our supports. Ring comes out to try to keep us alive. Etho's able to touch with the side of Wrecking Ball. This should be an easy cleanup as Reaper has fallen. Kitsune comes out and to clean up the kills. We're going to have wanted that Kitsune a little bit later on into the fight. Little unfortunate, but we do have some other ults coming up. So hopefully Duck's able to build up their ult going into the next one. May Freeze to come out. Very aggressive. I really like this. Bubbles are going to be stalled out. Oh my gosh. What time is it for the side of the enemy cast? It's time for Etho to roll in on him. That's what it is. Not high noon, ladies and gentlemen, as the Zarya is going to fall next. You thought Etho could only play Brawl tanks? Well, welcome to the world of Wrecking Ball. There was just too many questions with not enough answers from the side of UAA, but Etho had an answer of his own with the Wrecking Ball, the hamster of all things, to try and stop this dominance and maybe just provide enough distraction. This might have just been the perfect answer for the side of UAA, the one that they needed. Sleep, however, is going to land, but it's causing enough distraction for Lance to take out the tank. That is going to be that Zarya, and it just makes the Reaper even more vulnerable as there's no bubbles, and he can only rely on the Wraith and the TP. Just putting up so much distraction. We were sitting at 3 minutes and 50 seconds, but all of a sudden, UAA has burned 2 minutes total. We still have yet to see another fast ult push here coming in from the side of PVC, however. So it is going to be very dire for them not to get this ult push to come out. No anti, no sleep, but the life tree is going to come out. But another high noon from the side of Lord is able to take out two. The tank and the Reaper that have been proving so dominant this game are going to fall early on in this fight. Our ult bank is dwindling, but Lance is able to build up one of his own. He's going to have to stay alive here to try to respond to any sort of ult that comes from PVCC. I believe they do have Grav. And that's the high noon as well. But the freeze comes through from the side of Lance. And the ult stops the high noon. The clock stops ticking. Nano boost comes out from the side of the Reaper, but he's only going to find Lord. The cast of all things, trying to keep Lance alive, is not going to do most damage at all. TP comes through, not able to keep them alive, and oh, even though that Etho was able to provide enough distraction on the back lines, he's going to have to dip back as quick as possible. Going into this next fight, we do have a Kitsune Rush, as touched on before, even though it was used a little bit prematurely in the last fight. We do have it going into this one. As long as we can keep our team alive and stop this Reaper from getting into our backline. Kitsune does come through, but no picks are being fallen off of it. It's a little bit harder to try to play off of the Kitsune with the side of a Wrecking Ball. But with a beautiful Mei wall, it's able to try to save them for the time being. Get this game to overtime. Brig swap came through. Smokey trying to stay alive, but it's not going to prove to be useful for this time. And little by little, I mean, we can only just hope that he stalls for enough time. Reaper ult comes through. The Blossom is going to end the first half for the side of PVCC. But, I mean, dude, if you really go back to it, and you showed me only the first 2 points that PVCC had, their first 2 minutes of that game, and you only showed me that, I would have assumed that they're steamrolling this map. But for 3 minutes and 50 seconds... UAA was able to hold their ground. So very well done from the side of the defense. And hopefully they're able to replicate it. It's a lot easier to use that Zarya Reaper combo on attack. But you can't count us out just yet. I'm assuming we're going to go back to that Ramattra or Junker Queen comp. Maybe flex onto the Mira and Reaper. Or Mira or Reaper. It does look like we do have that Reaper. I mean, I would love to see the Ashe play to try to get some high ground. Maybe pop some bobs. And wow, what a pick from the side of Star Chick and Etho. I did miss out on the last game as it was only a one mapper. But to play Hazard, it's going to be very interesting to see. Hoping to wreak some havoc here with the Hazard. It's going to be up against an Orisa of all things. Or I don't know exactly the tank matchup when it comes to Hazard and Orisa. But alongside the Ashe that Lord did bring this time around, I do like that. I'm actually very fresh to Hazard's abilities, so a lot of this stuff looks very new to me. But unfortunately, not able to get the TP out. Lance is going to fall. It's going to actually force out some Suzus, force out some Util, and unfortunately, UAA is not looking like they're going to win this fight. They're going to have to be forced to back up. Nice shots on the side of Lord. Try to get a little bit of ult advantage here, but looking to see some early swaps. Yes, we got the Reaper off onto the Symmetra, and unfortunately, we won't be seeing any more Hazard as Etho swaps right back onto the Ramatra, a staple of his hero pool. And if I had to guess, it has to be that Reaper that was playing the Sombra early on, because the way that he's playing, just getting into the backlines is incredibly detrimental for our team. Lifeweaver is going to actually pull the Orisa away, giving us the side of the point, even though it keeps her alive for the most part. Etho doing a really good job of protecting his backline here, as the rest of the members use this ring to go through. Terrain for the side of Orisa is going to come out. High Noon not able to find anything as Lance is dancing back and forth between the teleports. And unfortunately, the Lifeweaver ult comes in just in time. And we just don't have enough ults built up at this time. They do burn Death Blossom. So it's a little bit better for us in terms of going into this next fight, as that was Orisa Lifeweaver. They pretty much use 4 ults. They should only have Rally going up into this next fight, depending on how long they had that Brig. I don't know if they swapped off early or not. But 4 ults going into our possible 4 as well. This is going to be a very favorable fight for us. TP goes through straight onto the point alongside the Kitsune. Lord's going to be the first one to fall, however, onto the side of the Orisa. 1-for-1 comes in, but that Orisa is just pecking us down alongside the Reaper. We need to follow up on this. Star Chicken's going to be next. No more punch available. He does have ult to come through, but it doesn't look like he's going to be using it anytime soon. Smokey trying to live as much as she can. Gets away just in time to get back to the rest of her team, but Etho trying to battle for his life here. Gets the fists out, but he's just taking way too much damage. He cannot die here before the rest of his team regroups. Orbital Strike comes through. PVCC still does not have any ult before the Brig Rally comes through. This should be an easy take given our ult advantage. It's just incredibly hard to deal with this Reaper as there's so much disengage for him. Having the TP, the Lifeweaver pull, the Wraith. But that's going to be some points, and the escorting enabled for the side of UAA, as Etho was taking a nap on the right side of the map near alleyways. But this does allow UAA to take a second to just breathe for a moment. Once again, on the side of their defense, they were able to push this to overtime. So all they need to do is just match that. They know that Reaper's in their backlines, but they do not care, actually. He's going to be forced to TP right back onto site. Ults are building up for the side of PVCC, but that's going to be a beautiful pick onto the side of the Orisa, forcing PVCC back. And as that payload keeps pushing through, the Reaper barely has that TP. He's going to get away. TP's just in time, but Lance catches a bullet stray. And that's a little bit of an unfortunate pick. Forces them to back up, and if they're able to get around this corner just in time, they might have the upper advantage. That payload just needs to hurry up and keep going. Suzu is going to be used, but unfortunately they weren't able to get it around that corner. And this next fight is going to be a real awkward one if they're not able to position the way that they want to. Would love to see a little bit of a wraparound here maybe get some high ground from the top left or the top right as the Death Blossom goes through, leaving Star Chicken all alone, and he's just punching a tree, just punching wood. That's going to be a team kill from the side of UAA. Unfortunate, but still a minute 30 remaining. They were able to pull off what looked like the impossible last time. Hopefully able to replicate some of that same magic. Would love to see once again if, like, maybe they go around to the top right towards the stairs to try to pull some out, and then like 2 go top right, 3 go main, or maybe 2 go top left, 3 go main. Just some sort of split, because they are just funneling into these Orisa bullets and Reaper shots. Love to see it already. High noon goes from the top left. This is exactly what I wanted to see. As the Orisa punches are going to get punched, followed up by Star Chicken with the punches as well. And that's a beautiful hit, just like that. I mean, look, UAA we've been absolutely getting funneled into these target spots that just play exactly into the game of an Orisa and a Reaper. And I mean, I played on this team last semester, so that 3-2 split was a staple for our team strats. And oh no, he's gonna get pushed off the map. It's okay, we still got the point, so it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a minor reset for the side of UAA, a minor step back for a beautiful revival, however the saying goes. Do as much damage as they can. And I mean, like I said earlier, the Lifeweaver on a combo, it should not be enough. I'm not kidding. It should not be enough healing. It really shouldn't. Suzu's not able to come out in time. And they have a 3-for-1 advantage as the Nano comes out for the side of the Orisa. Smokey, of all people, are able to take out the Orisa. And that's no diss to Smokey. It's just a Juno. A support. You gotta love the state of Overwatch, ladies and gentlemen. A support taking out a tank. Kitsune in hand. I love the 3-2 TP here. Looking to use this as Lord once again uses his high noon to get an early pick onto the Ana. Ramacha ult's going to come through to try to pick up any sort of remaining members. Going to force the members of PVCC to get back onto the point. Heals are coming through to try to keep Etho alive. 40 seconds remaining. They could try to push this into a possible lead advantage going into overtime. Reaper's going to come through. I don't believe that he has Blossom, but getting into this point is going to be very aggressive. We need to try to see this Kitsune. It comes out just too late as Etho gets pushed off again. The Orisa spear is just too strong. Nice moves and nice dances from the side of Lord, but he's going to be dancing with the devil as he falls. And earlier, as I was talking about, hoping that we can get ahead of time, but at this point, we need to touch the point. We at least need to get to that third tick. Lance is going to drop. He's able to touch in time. Wall comes through. It's going to be a little bit too far back, but it at least pushes up in time. Swap to Lucio comes through. Orisa terrain is going to pop onto the side of the point. And our numbers are just dwindling. But this Etho Wrecking Ball pocket pick is just proving to be too good. But the front line is dwindling from the side of UAA. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be map 2. A great response, nonetheless, from the side of PVCC to tie this series up 1-1. Still, nonetheless, a great showing as Lord gets the play of the game here. But this is going to be a good series so far. I can already tell some good responses from the side of UAA to try to deal with the aggression from the side of PVCC. But this is going to be a really fun series, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you soon for map 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. If you're just now joining in, the series is tied 1-1 as UAA was able to take the win on Lijiang Tower. Striking back on King's Row was PVCC, and now we find ourselves on map 3 of New Queen Street. Looking to take control and hold back of the lead of the series is going to be our Sea Wolves. Duck, Lance, Lord, Smoky, and Star Chicken, also known as Etho. Starting with the bread and butter team comp of the Curie and Juno that we've seen all series long, alongside the hit scan of Lord and Lance on that damage character, whether it's Symmetra or the Reaper, followed up by none other than the staple pick of Junker Queen from Etho. Already a little bit worried as we are immediately seeing that Zarya Reaper combo that we saw on the King's Row. Looks like the same exact comp that they found success in the first time. If we're able to deal with this brawl and just keep our heals up in time, anti-heal comes out, and that's going to deal a little bit of damage, but not able to capitalize on any sort of picks. Robot is still pushing, and for the time being, we are actually doing a really good job at holding this push so far. Etho doing a really good job at laying down the foundation for his team, keeping everyone together. But these ults are going to be building very soon. And although he's able to land a beautiful knife, the sleep comes through. Smoke able to clean up onto the side of the Ana. But with 3 members of the team falling, UAA is going to be forced to leave. Etho not able to get enough heals as Smokey has to fend for her life as well. Unfortunately, even though we were able to push about 20 meters, it looks like PVCC is going to take the lead here. Or the Pumas, rather. Probably calling them that. Pumas take the lead, and they're looking to inch around this corner here. Coming around, almost building a couple of ults. I would assume that the enemy Reaper has their ult as well. TPing in the back line. Lord is going to need some help here. Uses the Koshka to get out of dodge. Ring comes through a little bit too forward, but it does allow Lance to get into the fray. Dancing, trying to get as much damage as possible. Bob comes through, pulls out the Lifeweaver tree, but that also pulls out the High Noon. Not able to deal as much damage, but does enough to damage Lord. And that Reaper, you can already tell he's going through with the Blossom, but they're actually able to respond, keeping Etho alive for the most part. But Smokey once again has to force herself out of the fight. And even though we lost that, I would call that a semi-win. We pull out 4 ults there. All they do have left is the Nano, which could prove pretty drastically if we're not paying attention to the Zarya charge. Orbital Strike's going to come through to engage onto this fight. Hopefully we don't use any more ults here. This would be pretty good for the side of UAA if they can just win the fight off of just 1 ult. It looks like, though, however, Lance is going to clean things up with the Blossom himself. And I don't hate that. Love to see it. Just an absolute statement from the side of UAA that this match is not going to be the same as we saw in King's Row, as unfortunately we were quite literally the pushovers. I mean, on our defense, even though we were able to hold on the very end, the first 2 minutes of that game was nothing but a steamroll. But I like the strike back. The Pumas did use 4 ults to win their team fights, but we only used 2. Still with 2 in pocket. Being forced to keep our team alive. Nice Suzu to keep everything rolling. Ring's going to come through on the back of Star Chicken's ult. Also goes up with the flower to take out the enemy Lifeweaver. And just keeps on pushing. Gets the knife down. Not able to land any of the final blows. But this robot is not walking? Question mark? Robot? Oh, they got to the halfway point. Sorry. I was looking at the progress. And talk about progress. The bar that I was looking at was the bar that we are taking the lead now, which is very nice to see. However, in response to taking the lead, Kitsune is going to be used. We're forced to back up. 68 meters. We were able to take the lead. Allowing Lance to kind of play around this terrain here. Love the play, but unfortunately that Death Blossom is going to come through, and that is a nano. So a little bit of a pairing here. Nice TP, but Duck's not going to be able to live any further. Lord doing as much damage as possible. Gets to pick on the 3 and leaves nothing but the Reaper and the Orisa here. So this take back for the robot shouldn't be too difficult, as both supports are down. So if they're able to capitalize this as quickly as possible before the enemy team does get the close spawn, then they might be able to take this back. Looking at the scoreboard so far, we do have Bob in hand, as the Lance is trying to do as much damage as possible in this small room. Dynamite comes through, but the rest of the Pumas did get out as quickly as possible, and unfortunately it's just that fast spawn from the side of the Pumas, since they do have over halfway. But now coming through is going to be a little bit of force back. TP, very aggressive, comes through. Hopefully we're able to clean up that Reaper, but it doesn't look like we're able to do so. Dynamite and Bob are going to be used alongside of the Ring of Juno. Reaper with no Wraith or anything is going to be taken out pretty quickly by the side of Smokey. Pushing up on the side of the Orbital Strike is going to be the rest of our team. Trying to look for any sort of picks. Lord landing the shots needed to clean up the cast. Looking for the Life Weaver. Not able to find it so far, as he's trying to dodge and weave into his way into the side of Ethos sights. Able to clean up the pick. Orisa last one remaining. No Fortify left. And that's going to be a clean up. Quick and easy for the side of UAA. Hoping to reset their lead. Looks like the Reaper did get the early spawn, so hopefully we're able to at least keep ourselves alive for the meantime, so that we can re-engage this little bit of a split stagger that Pumas have set themselves up for. Ana is in a very deep backline for some odd reason, but a beautiful pick to start things off. That's going to be their range damage from the side of the cast. That's going to be taken out by the side of Lance. TP comes through, and he does have this Death Blossom looking to use it. Doesn't look like they're very grouped up, however. He's going to come in with the Blossom himself. It looks a little bit telegraphed, but he's able to get the pick. Anti-heal comes out, and the pull comes through. Not able to deal any sort of damage. However, Jungle Queen All is going to be followed up by it. Able to get the tank. That Reaper, looking for the Death Blossom of their own, is going to use it. Gets the pick onto the Smokey. But we still have some players alive. Still, though, we are on the back foot, about 16 meters behind, trying to keep Etho alive. This would be huge if he stays alive. Very nice heals from the side of Duck to keep our tank into this match. Kitsune is going to be used. I'm not against it. I mean, I wish it was used on like this side of the street, but this does give us our pushback. And it was able to kill the cast once again. We are getting very early picks on the side of the hit scan, but just not really able to do anything with it. That Orisa, I could see the look in her eyes, is just looking for that ult. Suzu comes through to stop the heal, and there is the ult. Saw from a mile away. Is only going to be able to get one, but Reaper with the next. This fight is looking a little bit drastic. That Reaper, said it time and time again, is just flanking over and over again. And while Lord is able to get the pick, unfortunately, we are now forced to reset here. Lance is going to swamp off of that Reaper onto the Symmetra to possibly just burn down the Orisa. I don't exactly know the state of her Fortify, but I know that it has been toyed around with many bountiful times. Bob is going to be used, and there's a really nice Bob. However, the Orisa actually stopped it, so it's not going to get as much value as Lord anticipated, but it is still able to get the first pick on to Cass. Star Chicken following it up with a pick on the Orisa, forcing their way to forward, try to push this teammate back, as they do still have the halfway spawn. Nice TPs that are going to be burning up the side of the support, splitting up the rest of the remaining members. That Reaper is just a thorn in our side. But they're able to stop things for the time being. Early fight's going to come up on the bottom of this hill. They really need to try to push this, and the Orbital Strike is going to be used to do so. High Noon comes through. Gonna have to try to hide here. Nice Suzu from the side of Duck. We love to see it, but the Blossom again gets the quad. No! And just like that, UAA is going to fall map 3. You hate to see it as Orisa is gritting on us. Unfortunate game. Heartbreaking ending there, ladies and gentlemen. As we're going to see it, the Death Blossom in the final moments, or not even the final moments. I mean, he got it here as well with the Nano. We just need to find an answer for this Reaper, hopefully going into map 4 as we're down at this series point. We're down 1-2. map 4. Thanks for waiting during the break. Very minimal one. It's going to be Suravasa. And if you're just now joining in, UAA is unfortunately down 1-2 in the series, taking map 1, but the Pumas did strike back with 2 maps of their own on Kings Row and New Queen Street. Looking to take this to a map 5 and hopefully extending the series. The Seawolves with a more interesting lineup. Looks like we have an Echo and a Mercy. Is there a name for that? I know there's Pharmacy, but is it Mecco? I have no clue. I'm not even going to try to make one for my own. Let's try to get some of this Echo action. Trying to disable a little bit of the short range, possibly, from the side of the Reaper. That's going to be an early pick onto the support of the Lifeweaver. Nice pick to try to stop the disengage. Cass is going to fall as well. Up 2 players here, but we've got to keep Star Chicken alive, and we do disable the Reaper for the time being. Just the support and the Kiri and that Orisa left if we're able to clean this up. Huge damage from the side of our Echo from the Land Striker. Excuse me, but not able to clean up the picks remaining. Nice early pick here. And I mean, when you have Flashpoint, it does mirror the first map of Lijiang a little bit, as we are capturing points, so maybe that is exactly what we needed in this series to try to bring us to map 5, whatever that may be. Early heals come through. Nice bubbles from the side of Lance, able to take out the Kiriko. Doing a lot of damage here, getting into the mess, and we love to see it. That Cass is going to be a problem, however. TP comes through the side of height, and the Echo is going to fall. Nothing but the healers remaining, and Lord with the Ashe. He's going to be picked off as well. And that Cass is going to prove a huge problem for the side of our Echo. And I mean, we saw Cass be the second one to fall in the first fight, so hopefully if UAA is able to replicate that, they'll be able to deal a lot of damage. I didn't even realize it, but Pumas already have 75% on this first point. Going into our next fight, we do have Copy looking to get Bob as well in the midst of the next fight. Copy's the Cass of all players. I think he was trying to copy the Orisa there, and just like we've seen time and time again, we see the Orisa pull onto the Reaper Blossom, and it's just that combo. I don't know if exactly we're having problems with counting ults or just figuring out the exact way how to counteract that, because I mean, if you just look into Orisa's eyes, you can tell that she is wanting to go for that pull. And the Reaper's not really hiding he's really telegraphing exactly when he wants to ult. I mean, it's the age old Reaper flanks, and he blossoms in, and he pops Blossom. He just presses Q. I mean, it's not necessarily a mystery. Bob comes through and is able to deal a lot of damage and extend some space onto the site. Lord not able to capitalize off the pick, unfortunately, but it does push the Pumas back. I like the high ground that we're holding so far. Very nice positioning, but the ones to try and dislodge that is going to be Orisa. Orbital Strike comes through, but the Pumas are just going to back off for the time being and let it pass. And with only 2 more ults, one of them being just the Mercy Flight, it's going to be a very interesting fight going on to this as the Pumas have claimed that top ground. No picks have gone through, however. Early damage comes in as the High Noon comes through. Nice shield from the side of Etho, but the clock strikes 12 and is going to take out Etho. Just steps right in front of that shield and is able to get the pick. Still 50%, not bad. Once again, mirroring kind of what happened in that first time. Very nice early start from the side of UAA. Looking to reset for this fight so far. Spears coming through, and it's going to prove a lot here to try to win this fight before that Reaper gets the pick. He just has TP, he has Blossom, and we just don't have an answer for it. This cast is going to be caught out by Etho, but that is in response to the pull of the Orisa after killing our Echo. And there comes the Death Blossom to finish things off. And I mean, this is just going to be a mirror of exactly what happens in the first point. I mean, they're just constantly repeating over and over. It's just the same thing. It's UAA wins fight 1. Orisa ult, Reaper ult, and then we lose point. But maybe fate could be rewritten. Down 0-2 on not only map point, but also series point. If UAA isn't able to claim the next 3 points on Saravasa, we will unfortunately fall down to the series. After a very strong start, mind you. I mean, we had a incredibly strong start on that Lijiang Tower. So this is nothing but surprising to see. And I mean, these maps have been close. Going to this next fight, however, let off with a copy onto the Orisa. As we saw, try to look on earlier into this fight, is going to be Lance Striker. He's going to be taken down almost, however, as Smokey kicks and punches her way into the fray. Not looking to fall. It's going to be the last 2 supports remaining. Rez is going to come through from the side of Duck. Able to get the Rez onto Lord, however, as he picks off that Kiriko and brings in the Bob alongside him. As the reinforcements come through, that's going to be Star Chicken coming through and is able to pick up the Orisa. Very nice res from the side of Duck, and that could just spell, without jinxing it, a possible point win. With a lot of ults being used on the side of Pumas, this next fight could be even easier. But they do have to be very wary of that Orisa pull. They have to spread, and they can't be grouped up like this. I understand that they are playing in a brawl comp, but playing this close, that Orisa's mouth will be salivating as they are looking for that pull, looking for that Reaper ult. Nice orbital strike to come through, but Smokey's not able to get out of dodge for that cast ult, rather. Taking matters in O's hands is going to be that Reaper to Orisa combo. And although Etho had his ult, it just wasn't enough time and enough sustain to live. That's going to be a team kill from the side of UAA, but we do have a lot of percentage, a lot of time to respond. Not really many ults to retake this site, but not many ults from the side of PVCC either. I believe they only have Kitsune. If not, then they really don't have anything. So this is just going to be a raw 5v5 with a possible Mercy coming through. I like the split that's being set up. But unfortunately, Lore's not able to capitalize onto it. Orisa is stuck in a very awkward corner. Spear is going to land, however, really awkwardly. And that's going to be Smokey down. The tree comes through as well. And although the copy from Orisa comes through, double tank is just not enough. Duck not able to get the touch or the res. And ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, after a very strong start, UAA is going to fall to PVCC Pumas Silver. And it was a great game, ladies and gentlemen. Very well fought from the side of UAA. But just like that, the series is going to end in a 1-3 scoreline. And it does look like it was pretty dominant on the scoreline, but the score does not tell the whole story, ladies and gentlemen. That entire series was an absolute nail-biter and very close to the end. But just unfortunately, just a couple of fights went into PVCC Puma's way. We'll be seeing you next week for our regular scheduled matches, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can see the schedule down below. And we'll see you then, ladies and gentlemen. Take it easy, and we'll see you on Tuesday for League of Legends.